In a voice calmed, and perhaps even tired, by 5 years of battle, lawyer Kevin Egan lists a multitude of problems at London's provincial jail, the Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre.
The issues are overcrowding, probably number one, which leads to violence. There are frequent lockdowns so that inmates are jammed cheek by jowl into a cell that was originally designed for one person and often holds three for extended periods of time. So that leads to violence, it leads to hygiene issues, just a miserable existence. EMDC is a strangely designed facility. It was originally built for 150 inmates, and now it routinely holds 400 to 500. The guard station isn't in a place where the guards can actually see what's going on. So when a guard is sitting at his station, he has no idea what's going on the unit itself.
5 years ago, the family of a London man named Randy Drysdale knocked on the door of the Mackenzie Lake law firm, where Egan is a partner. Randy Drysdale was beaten to death in the jail in 2009. Family members asked Egan to represent them at an inquest in 2011.
As a Canadian citizen, I just assumed that things were being done right. And so when I got involved in this inquest, it was a real eye-opener for me.
A small amount of media attention about that inquest drew two former inmates to Egan's door. Robert Broley, claiming he suffered permanent brain damage after a gang of inmates beat him and smashed a cup into his forehead, while guards did nothing. Jesse Hennebrey, claiming he was taunted and neglected by guards and suffered 3 facial fractures and a concussion after he was thrown onto a range with the man he was supposed to testify against in a later court date.
We're still slogging our way through the courts. I used to think that it was going to take another death. Those deaths have now happened, and nothing has changed.
In 2013, Adam Cargus, 29, was killed in his jail cell during what inmates say was a raucous Halloween celebration. His cellmate faces charges of second-degree murder. Egan represents the Cargus family, which has settled a lawsuit against the province and await an inquest.
Adam was maybe not atypical. He was a drug abuser. To support his drug habit, he had become a petty criminal. Small crime, trying to rehabilitate himself, and he came out dead.
In September 2014, Keith Patterson hung himself in cell 15 of the segregation unit. 3 months later, Jamie High died in the same cell. Egan represented Patterson's family at the coroner's inquest and wasn't surprised that some of the same problems identified in the 2011 inquest of Randy Drysdale were identified in the 2015 inquest of Keith Patterson.
To a great extent, nothing has changed in the 7 years since Randy Drysdale's death. Yeah, the recommendations are remarkably similar. There's no teeth to them. The government unfortunately recognizes that they're not bound by those recommendations and have a year to respond to them, first of all, but really don't have to do anything.
Egan says that if inmates in Ontario are going to get justice, they're going to have to sue. After the first few inmates knocked on his door 6 years ago, hundreds more have contacted him. Mackenzie Lake has filed a $325 million class action suit against the province, arguing that inmates at Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre had their Canadian charter rights violated, specifically the right to life, liberty and security, and the right not to be subjected to any cruel and unusual treatment or punishment. It's an historic lawsuit, the first to be certified and move ahead in Ontario. Across the province now, other law firms are filing other class action claims about conditions at jails.
So I really can't point a finger at what it will take for this government to change. And that's one of the reasons that I've launched this class action, is that we believe that the only way to affect change is for the government to have to pay more money to leave things the way they are than to change them. I mean, every day is an eye-opener. The things that I find out are going on in Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre are just shocking. You know, my eyes were certainly opened in 2011, and maybe I was naive in thinking that these facilities were properly run before that Drysdale inquest opened my eyes. Yeah, I guess I'm much more educated than I used to be, and I've kind of taken the view that I need to educate everyone who was suffering under the illusions I was suffering back in 2009 to 2011, that the government cares and actually wants to do something meaningful to rehabilitate people who have fallen on the wrong side of the law.
This is Randy Richmond for Post Media Network.